welcome back to the reading room. Today, we are going to continue learning about nonfiction text. Do you remember what nonfiction is? That's right. Nonfiction is real. Mirror words. Nonfiction is real. Mirrors off. Excellent job, readers. So, the last time we were together, you distinguished the difference between fiction and nonfiction text. You told me that nonfiction books are real. They are full of facts, and when you read them, you learn more information. You said that most of the time, nonfiction books have photos, and they are always based on true people, places, things, or events. So I used that list of criteria to go ahead and pick my books for today's lessons. Here's what I have. I hope you like today's selection because I'm going to need your help picking a book. I have Flies Are Fascinating, A Day in the Life of a Teacher, Animal Grossology, and National Parks of the USA. Well, let's see. We have to narrow it down to one book for today's lesson. I already know a lot about teachers, and even though I could learn more, I'm going to get rid of that one. I don't love flies, so I'm going to get rid of that one too. Okay, we're down to two. National Parks of the USA and Animal Grossology. This is such a tough choice. Can you guys help me decide? All right, go ahead. Which one should we read today? Animal Grossology. All right, so let's go ahead. For today's lesson, I am going to teach you how to read, learn, and write all about nonfiction text. Are you ready to say our I can for today? Okay, mirror words. I can read, learn, and write about nonfiction books. Mirrors off. All right, readers, you sound like you are ready to start reading, learning, and writing about nonfiction. We're going to do this in 3 simple steps. It's that easy. So let's go ahead and get started with step number 1. Step number 1 is read. When we read nonfiction, we get to sit down, get comfy, and just soak in all the information. So I'm going to get started with my book, Animal Grossology. And as I'm reading, I'm going to be putting those facts and all of that information in my head so that I'm ready for step 2 and step 3. So let's go ahead and get started with our reading. Animal Grossology by Sylvia Branzi. The science of creatures gross and disgusting. Oh goodness, I don't know what type of book you guys picked for me today. Wow, readers, this book was really gross. I am so glad that I am done with step 1, which was read, because I don't know if you could tell by my facial expressions, but this book had me feeling all sorts of ways. But what I can say is I'm definitely ready for step 2. I learned so much from reading this book. So let's go ahead and jump into step 2, which is learn. So boys and girls, when we're in the learn stage, we reflect on the things from our book that is new learning. Because remember, sometimes when you read, you'll read facts that you already know. So you want to look for the new information. And man, oh man, was there a lot of new information in my book today. Do you want to know some of the things that I learned? Okay, so here they are. Promise me you won't get too grossed out? All right, the first thing I learned was about cows. A cow's stomach is equal in size to 9 human stomachs. Whoa, That's massive. Oh my gosh. So that was one fact that I learned that I thought was really interesting. I also learned that lobsters, crabs, and, let me check my book. Oh yeah, slugs, they all have blue blood. Yeah, it said because copper metal gives some animals their stylish blue blood. Interesting, right? I also learned from reading that in some hospitals, depending on the severity of an injury, if you have big bruises, they use leeches to help suck out some of the blood. Ooh, could you imagine? Me neither. Oh my gosh. And let's see, what else did I learn? I mean, it was just so full of information. I also learned about slugs, right? So I knew slugs existed on land, but I didn't know that slugs can also go in the water. There's several different kinds of slugs, land slugs and water slugs. I also learned that in Europe, there is a slug as big as a ruler. That is one big slug and a lot of slime. And those are only a few of the facts that I learned from reading this book. That's incredible. So now we are ready for step number 3. For step number 3, I'm going to use our Read, Learn, Write template on Seesaw, and I'm going to write down 3 of the facts that I learned from my book. So let's go ahead and start writing. I'll meet up with you when I'm done. Wow, do you see that? I have all 3 of my facts written down. Fact 1, I wrote about the cows. Fact 2, I wrote about those critters that had blue blood. And then for fact 3, I wrote that some slugs can live in the water. Boys and girls, it's that easy to learn about nonfiction. 3 simple steps. Step 1, read. Step 2, you learn. And then step 3, write it down. That's simple. I know. Can you believe it? So now it's your turn. I want you to dive into your books and find one that is nonfiction. Remember, that means real. And then I want you to sit down and start reading. After you're done reading, reflect on your learning. What did you learn? Can you do a fist of 5 to share your facts? And then the last step, open up Seesaw and write down 3 of your facts to share with me. I cannot wait to see what you read, learn, and write for today's reading lesson. Happy reading, learning, and writing. See you next time.